Health Talk podcast, where evidence meets encouragement and information becomes transformation. I'm Dr. Ferris Corbett, alongside my colleague, Dr. Deidre Willis, and we want to thank you for joining us today. We don't take it lightly that you've chosen to spend this time with us. Here at Health Talk, our goal is simple: to provide you with clear, trustworthy, and practical health information so that you can make informed decisions about your life, your wellness, and the well-being of those you love. From public health to mental health, from prevention to healing, we believe knowledge is power, but wisdom is action. And together, we'll explore both. So, settle in, open your mind and heart, and let's take this journey toward health, hope, and wholeness together.
Good evening. How is everyone doing on this wonderful Thursday evening? Hi. Good evening, family and friends. Welcome back to Health Talk. I am your host, Dr. Ferris Corbett. Unfortunately, again, Dr. Willis is unable to be with us, okay? It is Thursday, August the 28th, and tonight we're talking we'll be tackling a subject rather that hits every home, every community, and every budget, and that is mental health spending in America. Listen, I'm so glad you joined us here tonight. I really am, and I do appreciate you taking your time out of your busy schedule to join us here on Health Talk tonight. All right, and as always, let's start it with the scripture to give us some grounding. A cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up the bones. And this is taken from Proverbs, the 17th chapter, verse number 22 in the NIV version. All right. Mental health is not just numbers on a chart. Okay. It is life, it is vitality, it is hope. And yet, while spending on mental health continue to rise, outcome does not always match the dollars. Okay? Now, let's get into our Did You Know? Again, thank you so much for joining us here tonight on Health Talk. Uh, we're asking that you like, subscribe, share, tag someone, let them know Health Talk is on the air, and we have a very uh, great topic that we're going to be discussing tonight. I think that you're going to find the information that we're going to be presenting to you tonight and what we're going to be discussing. I think you're going to find it very useful and informative. Also, make sure you stick around to the end because we have an audience participation segment. So make sure that you hang around to the very end. We've got something that we want you to take part in. So hang in there with us, okay? Don't go nowhere, but make sure you tag, like, and share this. Let them know Health Talk is here. All right, before we get started, we're going to do our daily Did You Know fact of the day. Now, did you know that the United States spends over $280 billion annually on mental health service? That's a lot of money. That makes it one of the largest health expenditures. Yet, even though we're spending all this money on health, mental health services in the United States, and that it is one of the largest health expenditure, depression remains the leading cause of disability worldwide. An individual with serious mental illness die on an average 10 to 20 years earlier than the general population. And it's often from preventable causes. So I want you to stop and pause and think about that for a moment. $280 billion every year is spent on mental health service, yet depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide. And individuals with serious mental illness uh, die on an average 10 to 20 years earlier than the general population, and all often from preventable causes. So tonight we have something very important to talk about. Okay, we talk about expenditure, we talk about budgeting. So let's talk about this. With 280 billion dollars a year spent on mental health service, yet depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide. So, what are we doing? What are we doing? I'm glad you're here with us so we can walk through and talk through and have a discussion about this tonight. Okay. Thank you for being here. Don't forget, like, tag, share, give us a thumbs up. All right. So the question becomes, are we spending smarter or just spending more? Think about that. All right. Mental health is not a side issue, it is the issue. Okay. It shapes how we think, feel, and connect. It determines whether a child thrives in school or struggles in silence. Talk about mental health. It impacts whether an adult can work, parent, or even have a hope for the future. Who suffers the most? Who suffers the most from mental health matters or issues? Vulnerable population, communities of color, rural towns, low income families, veterans, and young people get caught in the storm of anxiety, depression, and suicide. We're spending all this money, but yet depression is the leading disability worldwide. And there are so many people who are impacted, such as vulnerable populations, communities of color, rural towns, low income families, veterans, and young people get caught up in a whirlwind, a storm of anxiety, depression, and suicide. The truth is, when mental health is not addressed, mortality rises. People begin to die younger, family becomes fractured, and whole communities lose potential. Now, here's the paradox. Here's the paradox. Spending keeps climbing, but outcome, it lags. Spending climb, outcome lags. That doesn't seem to balance out to me. Maybe it's just me. Am I the only one that feels that way? It just doesn't seem to balance. We're spending all this money, yet the for mental health services, but yet the outcome is lagging behind the amount of monies that is being spent. It's just it's not balanced. It doesn't make sense to me. Okay, we see more dollars, but not always have more access. Help me to make this make sense. We see new programs, but not always better continuity of care. We see legislations, but sometimes it is cut, like Medicaid restriction. That leaves rural and underserved communities at risk. Money alone does not heal. It takes strategy, equity, and accountability. These are the things that heals. And without them, we risk building a bigger system that leaves people behind. Think about that. Think about all this money we're spending for mental health services, but yet we still find ourselves in mental health crises. Something to think about. Okay. Now, so how do we move from spending more to spending wisely? That's the key, my friend. So, how do we move from spending more money and getting less results to spending wisely and getting more results or better results? The first thing is prevention, and not just in crisis care. Okay? Invest in school, early interventions, and wellness coaching. So prevention. So when we start gearing toward prevention and investing in school and early intervention and wellness coaching, we're beginning to spend money wisely because prevention, and not just in the crisis when a person is in crisis, before they get to that point of crises. Okay. Equity in access. Rural and minority communities cannot be an afterthought. They must be a forefront thought. Okay. Equity in access. Rural and minority communities cannot be made an afterthought. We must think about these rural and minority community just as much and they're just as equally as we think about other communities and other ethnicities and things of that nature. All right. Third thing, integration. Integration. Mental health is woven into primary care, faith communities, and workplace. We need to integrate mental health services and mental health care into we need to wove them or integrate them or you know make them an interdisciplinary with primary care, faith communities, as well as workplaces. And the fourth thing, sustainability. Funding models that do not collapse when budget tightens. So sustainability, these the programs that are geared toward mental health should be geared toward those that will be sustainable, that have sustainability, and that they will not collapse when the budget becomes tightened. So, in planning, in designing, and in implementing, we must do these programs so that they will be sustainable. All right. So, to recap again, prevention, getting those programs. Invested in school, invested in early intervention and wellness coaching. You want equity and access. Rural and minority community need the same access as everybody else does. Integrating, making it interdisciplinary mental health, that is, into primary care, faith communities, and workplace. And lastly, sustainability, programs that are sustainable even when the budget is cut or as the budget become tightened or things of that nature. Okay. It is about recentering the system on people and not just programs. All right. So, what are some uh, practical takeaways for tonight? So here's what we can do as individuals as well as communities. Check ins. We can do check-in. Mental health begins with listening, and that is with active listening and not having that judgmental side to us in our listening, okay? To provide that safe place, okay? So checking in, normalize mental health care. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Just as we make it a practice of getting our annual checkup with our primary care provider, then we need to normalize mental health care the same way. Get an annual mental health check in or mental health check up, okay? Therapy does not show a sign of weakness. And for those in the faith community, it does not show a lack of faith. It does not show a lack of belief in God or anything of that nature. It is wellness. Okay, so normalize mental health care. So if you're going to go to the doctor every 3 months for diabetes, check in with your mental health care as often as you need to be or need to do. So normalize care, advocate, push for policy that protects access, especially for Medicaid and vulnerable communities. Advocate, get out there and push for those changes so that the needs, the access can be there for those that need that mental health care and not just in the time of crises. Okay, and that's one of the things I want to make sure we understand. We don't want it just in the crisis moment, but we want it, that's how we normalize it. It's not just in that crisis moment, but it's something that is an ongoing, a continual basis, just like we do with our regular checkup with our other illness and health conditions and things of that nature. Partner, get partnership, partner with schools, partner with churches, clinics, and workplace. It helped to share the load that there won't be such a heavy strain on the mental health services. Partnership, provide some services in school and churches and clinics and workplace. Help share and bear the blunt of this mental health services. And lastly, care for yourself. Self-care is very important. You cannot pour from an empty cup. All right. When the system is messy, small, consistent actions um, can still save lives. Okay. Think about that. Think about that. Listen, again, I am grateful that you're here with us on Health Talk tonight. And I want you to do me a favor. Make sure you like, tag, share this. Give us a thumbs up. The whole nine kit and caboodle, okay? I am thankful that you're here with us on Health Talk tonight. And so I just want to take a brief moment and say to you, thank you for joining us here on Health Talk. We really do appreciate you for being here with us. And tonight, as we said, we're talking about mental health and the cost of mental health, the expenditure that we're associated with mental health, but yet depression and anxiety and all these things are still lagging behind, even though we're spending all these billions of dollars on mental health services. All right, now this is the part that I want to come to that you, our listening audience, can participate in. We're going to do some questions here, and we want you to think about them. And if you don't mind, go ahead in the comment section in the chat. Let us know your thoughts because your thoughts very well can help somebody else. And it may be something that somebody else is thinking and just, don't feel like asking it. Okay. So do me that favor as we begin to present these questions to you. Go to the chat, the comment section, and let us know your thoughts. Let us hear what you have to think about these questions that we're about to present to you right now, and what you feel about them. And let's have that discussion. This is a time that we're going to have our audience participation. We want you to take part of our discussion of tonight. We're inviting you to come on in and have that discussion with us tonight. Okay. All right. So now, our first question that we're going to propose and present to you tonight. And again, let us know where you're watching us from. Okay. We would love to hear from that. Love to hear from you. Let us know where you are watching us from. Okay. Thank you. Now, our first question is, let's get to our first question. And it is, how do you see the rising cost of mental health care showing up in your own family or your community? Okay. So tell us, how do you see the rising cost of mental health showing up in your family or community? Okay. So, in other words, in your own family or in your community, where do you see the costs associated with mental health increasing in your family or in your community? What difference do you see? What difference have you noticed? Okay? Think about that. Go ahead in the comment in the section. Let us know what you're thinking. Go ahead and put it down there. Let us hear from you. We'd love to hear from you. Go ahead down in the chat section there, okay? And let us hear from you. All right. Our second question is, if you could redesign the system, what one change you'll make first? If you could redesign the whole system for mental health care, mental health services, what one change you would make first? What would be the first thing you do if you can redesign the mental health care and service system? What is the one change that you'll make first? What's the first thing you would do? Go ahead, leave that your thought in that comment section. Let us hear from you. We want to know what your thoughts on the matter is. Okay, this is audience participation. Go ahead, leave it in that chat. We're waiting. We're sitting. We're waiting. We're looking to hear from you. I know you got it. Okay, go ahead, leave that in the comment section. All right, our third question is, who do you think? Who do you think is most left behind at this time, right now? And what could you personally do to bridge that gap? All right. Who do you think is the most, who do you think is left behind right now? And what could you personally do to bridge that gap? So, in other words, who do you see as the one that is most left behind at this present time? And what could you personally do to help bridge that gap? All right. Go down there to that comment section. Let us know what you thought. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to see and read your thoughts. Okay? Because I know you got them. I know you got them. You and we appreciate you, our listening audience, for your participation. It matters and mean much to us. Okay? All right. So our last and our final question is, if you or someone you love struggles with mental health, what would better outcomes actually look like for you? So, if you or someone you love struggles with mental health, what would better outcomes actually look for you? Now, with each one of these questions, there's no judgment, there's no easy answers. It's just a real reflection to move us from thought into action. Okay. So let's go through these questions. Once again, we're going to put them on the screen and we want to hear what your thought is. So the first one again is, how do you see the rising cost of mental health care showing up in your own family or your community? Leave your thoughts down there in the comment chat section. We'd love to hear from you. Second one is, if you can redesign the healthcare system of services, what is one change that you would make first? What's the first thing you would do? Second one, who do you think is, third one, my apologies. Who do you think is most left behind right now at this current time? And what could you personally do to help bridge that gap? And the last one is, if you or someone you love is struggling with mental health, what would better outcome actually look like for you? Go ahead, go to that comment section, go to that chat area. Let us know your thoughts on these questions that we have presented to you tonight. We would love to hear from you. And again, go ahead, drop us a line. Let us know where you're watching us from here on Health Talk. We would love to hear from you, Dr. Willis, and I would love to hear your thoughts on our topic on tonight. Again, those questions that we have presented to you, go ahead and go in the chat, in the comment section. Let us know what your thoughts are. We want to know, what do you think about these questions that we propose to you tonight? Okay. And as we said, over $280 billion is spent every single year on mental health services, but yet depression is still high. It's something to really think about. It's the leading cause of disability worldwide. That is just mind boggling to me. You ask me personally, that's just my personal thought on that. But yeah, go ahead, leave us your thought in that comment section. Let us hear from you, okay? Now, tonight's episode is brought to you by He Cares Training and Education Center, LLC. At He Cares, we know that throwing money at mental health without a strategy does not bring healing. It does not. And that is why we offer trauma informed workshops, continuing education for healthcare professionals, and wellness coaching programs that focus on things such as prevention, equality, and whole person health. We do not just talk about mental health, we equip individuals and organizations with the tools to transform outcomes. Okay. And if you want to find out how He Cares Training and Education Center can benefit you as an individual, or how we can benefit your organization or your ministry, again, we provide trauma informed workshop, we provide continuing education for healthcare professionals, and we provide wellness coaching program. We provide these things for individuals, we provide them for communities, we provide them even for your ministries. Yes, even for your ministry. So if you want to know how you can get in touch with He Cares Training and Education Center to help in any of these areas, you can reach out to us. We're going to put our website on the screen here so that you can reach out unto us. Okay, and now it's on the screen. You can go to our webpage, click on our discovery appointment, schedule you an appointment so that we can figure and work out a strategy for you as an individual, for your communities, for your ministries, for your churches. Go ahead, and for your organizations. Okay? Go ahead, reach out to us, do that discovery appointment. Let's have that discussion. Let He Cares Training and Education Center get in there and meet and help you in any and all ways that we possibly can. Again, our web address is on the screen. Go ahead, make sure you go over there, set up that discovery appointment with us. We're waiting to hear from you. Okay. All right. So listen, mental health is life health. The dollars matter, but the outcome matters more. $280 billion spent every year on mental health services, yet depression is the leading cause of disability worldwide. What are we doing with that money? Are we spending it wisely? Okay. So tonight, Dr. Willis and I want you to take a step back and ask this question. What will it take for us to stop managing decline and start cultivating life? And when we say decline, remember, we're spending all this billions of dollars, but yet mental health services and mental health care lags behind compared to the amount of money we're spending. So we want to know, what would it take for us to stop managing the decline and start cultivating life? Okay? Do me a favor, please. Before you close, before we leave tonight, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast. Like, subscribe, share, give us that thumbs up, okay? Like, subscribe, share, give us that thumb up, please, okay? Go on over there to our Health Talk Facebook channel if you're not following us, and make sure you follow us. Also, go over to our YouTube channel and go ahead and subscribe and hit that bell icon so you can get notification each time we upload new material or each time that we go live, okay? Because we got a lot to talk about and we want you to be a part of it. All right. Again, do me a favor. Go ahead into that comment chat section. Let us know where you are watching us from. We would like to know that, from where you're watching us from. We would appreciate that so much. Make sure you like, tag, subscribe, share, thumbs up, hit that bell button, all the good things, okay? All right. We thank you. Now, tomorrow night, we will tackle another pressing issue, and that is uh we're going to leave that a surprise. Okay, just make sure you join us tomorrow night here on Health Talk beginning at 8 o'clock p.m. We have another pressing issue that we want to talk to you about. Okay, and remember, please, please, if you don't mind, we ask you to just go ahead and let us know. Let us know where you're watching us from. It means a lot to us, and we really do appreciate you for doing that. Okay. Again, if this podcast tonight has been a help to you or what have you, go ahead and make sure, if it has been helpful to you, I'm encouraging you to go ahead and make sure you share. Share, 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 and share alike. Share. Okay? Share. Like, tag, subscribe. All those good and wonderful things. Okay? All right. And if you didn't catch us through the live uh, podcast, please make sure you go back and watch the replay and make sure you tag someone, share it with someone, and let's think about this thing. Let's think about billions of dollars. 200 billion of dollars is spent every year on mental health services, yet mental health care lacks behind the amount of money that we're spending. And also, if we're spending all this money on mental health service, why is depression the leading cause of disability worldwide? What are we doing? What are we doing, people? We're spending all this money, but yet mental health is still a crisis and an issue in America. Just think about that. All right. Until tomorrow night, I am Dr. Corbett reminding you, along with our Executive Vice President, Dr. Willis, we're reminding you a cheerful heart is good medicine, but hope is a cure we all need. Until tomorrow night, I'm asking and encourage you to make sure that you stay encouraged, stay compassionate. Most of all, do me a favor and make sure you stay well. I thank you again for joining us here on Health Talk and the Lord's will. Until tomorrow night, you take care. And if nothing happens, we'll see you tomorrow night. God bless and good night.